and reach for the stars, Scorpio. I'm Bernadette. I am here with your Scorpio tarot reading for February 2021. And that's probably where the smiles are going to come to a screeching halt. And I want everyone to know, I want all you Scorpios to know, and whoever is watching this video, because you might also be watching, your moon sign, your rising, whatever you're looking for in Scorpio. Oh, February 2021, it's the month of love. Scorpios love nothing more than love. We seek perfect love, the perfect embodiment of love in ourselves. For what we give to the world, we want it in return. That's all we want. That's the only reason we show up in this life. Oy vey is all I can say about this February. But don't turn off the video, because I've got your remedy for everything that's coming your way right here. Believe me, it is still with great prejudice that I give this reading, but here we go. All right. So the Jaguar, the Queen of Swords, is the tarot card for this reading for Scorpio this month, right? Okay. Jaguar she graces the cover of my very own award-winning, history-making Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck, which is, it's 100 cards in this deck, and 78 of those are they're true to the Rider-Waite tarot card system, and then there are 22 extra spirit animals. Well, Jaguar, because of the, oh my gosh, just the symbolism and the connection to the shamanic world and all cultures across the world, they're just fascinated by jaguars, and with good reason. Well, when she wanted to be the Queen of Swords, that just gave her, listen, the Queen of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, she's a queen, and she's no nonsense, and she's always perfectly balanced. And she's got, butterflies at her crown, the symbol of transformation, and she is just always focused on what the truly important is. And there's really not room for a whole lot else in her life other than her avocations, right? So when it comes to personal relationships or love, man, that person's got to be something to get inside of her heart, because she's not a queen that shows a great amount of vulnerability. Now, she's not a fool, obviously, by any stretch of the imagination, but she's also not cruel. She rules with I want to say with an iron fist, but really it's more like a katana blade, or whatever sword is like the sword to have, which in my understanding is a katana blade. So she's not cruel, but make no mistake, she doesn't have a problem felling that hammer, that sword, swift and true. And she can be ruthless, but not cruel, and there's a difference, right? Ruthless tends to imply that she can make the hard decisions when hard decisions need to be made. Let's say you're letting go of a job, of a relationship, of, maybe you are, I don't know why I all of a sudden heard this word. Maybe some of you out there are dealing with a whistleblower kind of, I'm sure of it. I am sure this is at least one of you out there, because the feelings in the pit of my stomach. Actually, it could be more than that. I was envisioning work like a job whistleblower, but now I'm being fed more information. You may have the unenviable task of going to one of your friends and saying, listen, so-and-so is skating around on you. You may have the unenviable task of going to somebody at your workplace and saying, I'm so sorry, but I here's the proof that someone is, doing harm to the company in this way. And that also may be internal. Maybe you've woken up to a hard truth about yourself that you've been ignoring, and you just can't ignore it anymore. You've got to blow the whistle on yourself. And for some of you, that might mean some kind of like substance abuse, chemical abuse. That might mean, anything, an addiction. Let's just say an addiction, right? For me, it's sugar. I talk about this all the time. I know a lot of us have an addiction to sugar and caffeine, and we don't really think of it that way, but it is, and for a lot of reasons. And so this is going to be the month for you to have to face that. Now, when you take a look at what's going to go on for you, at the end of the day, February for Scorpio, February 2021 for Scorpio, your zodiac sign, I'm triple Scorpio, right? Man, it is going to test our judgment, our strength, our fortitude, but that's not physical at all. It's going to be mental and emotional. Jaguar moves in the shadows. You can't see her. You can't see him when they hunt. And so that is giving all Scorpios the sign, the medicine of Jaguar, to make sure that you're discreet and humble. When I say stay in the shadows, I don't mean move in the darkness, but don't let your drive, because Scorpio's mantra, right? Its motto is, I desire. And that's no joke. Even down from the, man, you know what? I will pick up and go to the store at 8 o'clock on any night, no matter how tired I am. Well, I mean, as long as I'm safe to drive, not that tired. But if I decide I want thin mints or those little Andes mints, or I want a peppermint patty or whatever, I will go to the store because I want it. I desire it. That's it. I'm going to the store. So it can be something as little as that, or it could be like, I want to buy a new house, or I want to invest in this, or I want to do this. Ramp it down a notch there, Ramjet. Just use your stealthy observation skills and intuition, because Scorpio is the most psychic sign of the zodiac, right? Use that to discern what's important right here, what's happening right here and right now. And you might be in for some surprises, but if you'll just do that, if you'll please just remind yourself to do that, you're going to be so far ahead of the curve, because you know what signs to read, and you know what impulses are just emotional distractions and really what are messages from spirit. Now, our zodiac sign, Scorpio, is ruled by 2 planets, Mars and Pluto. Woof! Both are concerned with power. Mars is more immediate and impulsive. Pluto is a little more intense and deeply rooted in a sense of personal authority. Basically, we want to be large and in charge. That's it. End of story. And some of us will do anything to get there. I've never been that kind of person. Power is not really my thing, but accomplishment, that's my thing, right? Okay, so I understand the I desire from lots and lots of different perspectives. And this month begins with Mars in conflicted aspects to both the Sun and Jupiter, and that's going to cause friction and tension and challenges related to your financial system or your financial situation, health or career, and it's really going to challenge your sense of security, and you don't dig that. So just, be prepared for dramatic changes. They're going to be beyond your control, and the lack of security, because, we're nesters, right? We like to get in our little scorpion's burrow and be like, all right, this is ours. We're here. You cannot lead. Good luck leading the charge that's going to take over my little burrow, right? You could feel like people are coming for you. You could feel like situations are coming for you, and that's immediately going to cause you, that Mars in you, to butch up, to be like, I have my sword at my breast, ready to do battle, and you're genuflecting, and you're committing your loyalty and your fidelity to yourself. Okay, it's one thing to commit loyalty and fidelity to a cause, to other people, but we don't have any more basic animal instinct than self-preservation. There's nothing more basic, more primal. So again, ramp it down a little bit there, Ramjet, because you may find yourself waging World War III when all it would have taken was are you going to eat that before you snatch something off of somebody's plate? So calm down. Okay, so that is such an important lesson to learn from Jaguar, because while they are ferocious, they don't move until they know the time is right. And they don't use a 25-cent word when a 5-cent word will do. And what that means is they don't go on the out-and-out attack if just a little paw swipe is going to do the trick, right? So don't get out the fangs and go for the jugular when all you'd have to do is just maybe bop somebody on the head a little bit, or bop a situation on the head, and you'll be right as rain. Okay, so when things don't shape up the way you would like, here is an enduring truth that I love about Scorpios. Indeed, I love it about myself. When the poo hits the fan and everything crumbles away, and I'm not telling you everything's going to crumble away. This is not a tower card situation. We have an amazing ability to rise again, very much like the Phoenix, which is why Eagle represents the most ascended version of a Scorpio, right, through our 3 phases. And so the Queen of Swords is going to help you cut through any confusion, any distractions, face the situation for what it is, and then make the very, very best of it, as only Scorpio can do. Now, on the 2nd and the 3rd, the moon travels through Scorpio, and it forms an opposition with Uranus and Taurus. And this is, you know, okay, so that's just going to add fuel to the fire, the tension over the sense of security, because Taurians, my God, you can't blast them out of a trench that they're in, no matter how bad that trench they've dug for themselves may be. Change freaks them out. So that's their sense of security, is to stay mired in right where they are. So again, this is not meant to scare you. This is not meant to bum you out. What it is said for is that, like any good queen, of a ruler of a kingdom, and you are the ruler of your own kingdom, the having intel is the best way to win a war. I mean, you know, the art of war, he says, you know, don't start a war until you're absolutely sure you've won it before you've ever begun. And there you have it. So the week of the 10th, Mars is squaring first to the sun and then Mercury. And that's not going to be the easiest time for communication and sharing ideas, but it is going to be a super important time to get clear about your ideas or what you want to say before speaking that. Now, you add to this the ongoing Mercury retrograde till the 20th, and you may have to tread more carefully than you would like or than you're used to, lest you unintentionally, you know, start World War III, kick up that hornet's nest. Don't do that. Then the 15th through the 19th brings an opportunity for heightened psychic awareness, emotional healing, and spiritual exploration as Mars comes to a favorable sextile with Neptune. And that's a great time for creative release. And also during this time, the moon will briefly bypass Mars, and that's going to, you know, lend some sensitivity to everything that's going on. And because we're water signs, especially if you've got a lot of water in your chart, your own physical body may feel like a pendulum, or it may feel like it's in waves in the water. Just roll with it, it's okay. And if you'll go there, if you'll go into that psychic space, a lot of psychic work, mediumship during that time, man, your intuitive connection with spirit, it could be quite something. And in that, you're going to want to be careful what things that you blurt out to people. If there are people that have given you permission to deliver them psychic messages, awesome. But don't just be, you know, like one of those TV psychics that randomly run up to anybody in a store, which, by the way, they do not. Let me burst that myth right now. Legally, that's impossible. They just for legal purposes, no one can just run up to somebody and have a whole camera crew behind them and start filming them and then it show up on television. So there's a lot of myth to that. But let's say that you're in a grocery store or whatever and you don't have cameras with you and you get a message for somebody, because that happens to me all the time. If spirit really tells me like they really need this message, I'll go up to them in a quiet moment and I'll say, hi, my name is, I'm a professional psychic. I know this is probably a little kooky, but I believe I have a message for you. Do I have your permission to give you this message? Only once have I had someone tell me no. In the hundreds of times that's happened. And she was like, no, that stuff is of the devil. No. I was like, okay, but you really should be careful driving home. But anyway, and God love her. I hope nothing happened to her. But on the 20th and 25th, just realize that you're going to be carrying that psychic energy in when Mars is in Taurus and it squares Venus in Aquarius. And this can bring some tension in kind of the romance and sexuality part of this month of love. But in that, it's because you're tapping in so deeply psychically to what's going on with your physical intimacy that it can spice up the chemistry a lot if you'll allow it. And it can be an important time to restore momentum and passion in that relationship. But don't get too deep in all of there, and don't let that all that psychic stuff that you're getting, don't let it flip on you and go toxic in any way, right? Just keep your psychic eye on the things that are most beneficial to this relationship, and don't dredge up stuff from the past, right? Be sure that what you're thinking is in the here and now. So I hope that was helpful. Pick up your copy of the Archanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, and you can make all the magic with tarot and the spirit animal allies that I'm so fortunate, and all the other readers that read with the Arc are fortunate to do. And as always, keep reaching for the stars.